Hello and welcome to Kiwitea Street, tucked away in the suburb of Sandringham, here in the city of Sales, as Auckland City take on the Canterbury United Dragons in round 12 of the ISPS HANDA Premiership. I'm Narelle Sindos. Alongside me for this one, former All-White Jacob Spoonley. Jacob, a great day for some footy.
Absolutely, it's a stunning day here in the city of Sales. Looking forward to this one, which has been a traditional battle between blue and red.
And of course, Auckland City's last loss in the competition actually came against Canterbury United. That was down in Christchurch. So Canterbury will be hoping for more of the same.
Oh, I'm sure they would, as I'm sure you'll be looking for that as well, being a Cantabrian yourself. So no, it's set to be a massive battle today, and it's one in which there's a lot to play for. So Auckland City want to cement their place at the top of the table, and Canterbury, who would have known it, having started with 3 losses, now actually have a shot of not going into the top 4, but actually cementing a spot and challenging for the top 3.
Yes, they do, but it's a tough challenge today. Auckland City, they've made one change from last week. Alfie Rogers coming in off the bench, and the lineup in goal: Cameron Brown, Mario Illich, Adam Mitchell, Brian Kaltak, Cameron Howison, the captain, Dylan Manicum, Jordan Vale, Yusuf Al-Khalisi, Logan Rogerson, Mohamed Awad, and of course Alfie Rogers. So not a lot of change in the Auckland City lineup. Jose Figueres pretty much got his strongest 11 down packed, doesn't he, Jacob, as you'd expect so at this stage of the season?
Yeah, and coming off the back of the top of the table clash last week against Eastern Suburbs, you can totally understand why he's stuck with almost the 11 that he had.
And Canterbury United in goal, number 22, Danny Knight. Andrew Storer in the backline, number 4, alongside Captain Tom Schwartz. Luke Tunn, Garvin Coughlin, Ahia Delaney, Samuel Field, Corey Mitchell, Yuya Taguchi, Lyle Matheson and Edward Wilkinson round out the starting 11. The one change they've made is number 23, Wilkinson, getting the nod ahead of Englishman George King, who drops to the bench. And I was speaking with Coach Lee Padmore during the week, and he said they've got a lot of niggles, expect to see a lot of strapping tape, and they don't have a huge squad, so they're just going to have to make do.
No, there's a few kilometres in the legs of the Canterbury players, a lot of senior players in the likes of Mitchell, Schwartz, Coughlin as well, coming up from Otago. Obviously, they are no longer in the competition. So I think this Canterbury side will be built around being competitive. We've seen that last games. They've worn their way into draws, and they've also picked up some really important wins, as they did last week against Hawke's Bay.
Yeah, and you touched on there, no more Southern United, no more Tasman, so it's really Canterbury representing the whole South Island, and it'd be amazing if they could push into the semi-finals. As we have a look at the officials today, John Robury calling the shots alongside Chris Trent and Torres, and the 4th official is actually Chris Trent. So we're in trusty hands today, Jacob. Hopefully not a lot of controversial calls. We don't want to see too much of that, but we are expecting there to be a little bit of fire in this match.
Oh, absolutely. Canterbury United love coming to Kiwitea Street. They've picked up some very historic results here in the past, and results that have been picked up when they have needed to get into the top 4. So they are doing that today. They're knocking on the door. Suburbs having slipped up again yesterday with another heavy defeat. Canterbury United will be looking to go ahead of them, and then also keeping an eye on that result down in the Waikato. Hamilton Wanderers also within touching distance for them.
Yes, well, it's a must-win for them today, though, Hawke's Bay. Otherwise, they're out of the top 4 contention, and as we touched on, this is a perfect opportunity for Canterbury to capitalise on Eastern Suburbs' huge loss yesterday, but vice versa. If Auckland City keep winning from here, they will win the minor premiership with 2 rounds to go. After this one, it could come down to goal difference between them and Team Wellington, which again was helped by banging in 7 goals yesterday. I couldn't quite believe that score.
No, Hamish Watson leading the charge again. He's broken away from Derek Tiku, now on 11 goals, I think it is. So he's doing wonderfully well for himself, and Team Wellington starting to score at will. But look, the motivation for Auckland City here is massive. They want to be the team that finishes on top of the Premiership, at the top of the table at the end of the rounds, and they also want to be the team holding the trophy for the last time as we head into the final throes of this competition.
Yep, defending their title, Auckland City, of course, would meant to have been at the Club World Cup in Qatar, which finished up this week. Bayern Munich taking that one out. They've become, I think, the first German team to win all domestic and international titles, and Auckland City must have been watching that this week thinking, oh, it could have been them in the final alongside them.
And Auckland City, knocking on the door a few years ago at the Club World Cup on that final. Definitely, they would have looked at that competition and wanted to be part of that. But Bayern Munich, 6 from 6. You can't get any better than that, winning all the domestic competitions and all the continental and international competitions.
Yep, they are the world's best football team. But back here in Auckland, Auckland City getting ready to take on the Canterbury United Dragons. And we're underway for this Valentine's Day clash, although no love lost between the two teams. Both undefeated this year and both wanting it to stay that way. As Canterbury United make a quick start here. Driving into the area, shot comes away and cleared by Adam Mitchell. Early signs of potentially what's to come.
Well, Wilkinson's definitely setting out his stall very early there. Great drive in behind a very high Auckland City backline, and that's something that they will be mindful of. Canterbury United, I think, when they do go forward, they will go direct. So an early warning shot there by Canterbury United, and now they've got this set piece for Auckland City to deal with.
Canterbury with the first corner of the game inside the opening minute. Swings across, headed away by Auckland City. Don't quite clear the danger. Second ball comes back in, headed away by Captain Howison. Khaleesi headers that one to safety, but the pressure's not over for Auckland City. Canterbury looking to do the double over Auckland City. Can't say they've done that a hell of a lot in their time as a club. But they've made a promising start here at Kiwitea Street. Mohamed Awad just looking for safety, and they get the throw in. There's Jordan Vale gets ready to take.
Interestingly, they're not sitting off Auckland City. It's often a question for teams that do come to Kiwitea Street. Do they want to contain Auckland City? Do they want to allow them to hold possession but not allow for opportunities down their end of the field? Or do they want to go out and press Auckland City and try and force a mistake, catch Auckland City committing players forward? And it looks like Canterbury at the moment are setting up a bit of a middle block, and they're going to look to press off the back of that. So they're not going to be left asking questions at the end of this 90 minutes.
Absolutely not, and they've got nothing to lose, and they've got another chance here, Canterbury. Adam Mitchell putting his body on the line.
And there's a great example, Narelle. Garvin Coughlin there, putting pressure on Adam Mitchell. Mitchell a bit complacent in the ball, and then Coughlin driving towards goal, getting what was ultimately a blocked shot off. Canterbury United starting brightly.
Yeah, Auckland City, I think, a bit shocked finding themselves on the back foot this early in the game, but it's a chance now for them to just calm things down and work their way down the other end of the field.
And Taguchi and Coughlin there got eyes on Howison and Illich in particular, looking to choke the ball as it moves into that midfield for Auckland City. Very clear tactics from Mr. Padmore this afternoon.
I just wonder though, Jacob, if they can keep up the same energy for the full 90. It's been a struggle for them. They've drawn a few games, perhaps games that they should have won, but they desperately need all 3 points today to keep themselves in contention for the semi-finals.
Absolutely. And I think there's a bit of pressure in that, Narelle. They have the opportunity now to break into the top four. In the past, they've been chasing that top four there, so there hasn't been as much pressure for Canterbury United. They're playing largely stress-free football. But now they've got that chance, and we're going to see what they're actually made of today.
And here comes Rogerson, doing what he does so well, driving into the box. And it's a goal kick. Danny Knight to take.
Good block from Storer there. Managed to get in the way of the shot and get the ball to come back off Rogerson. Alongside Schwartz today, he's going to have to be, I think, for large parts of the game, very mindful of the runs. It's not often that Auckland City will stretch a player in a 1v1 situation, but they will with their movement through the likes of Manikim, Rogerson and Awad really be a handful rather for two centre-backs.
Alfie Rogers there. Dispossessed. A lot of challenges coming in, but Auckland City get the ball back.
Well, that's Hamish Watson territory. That's a great challenge here from Khaleesi. About where Andy Bevan won the ball this time last week.
Yeah, you've been following Auckland City closely. Do they have what it takes to get themselves another National League title?
Absolutely. I think, as you see, another giveaway there, this time from Cam Brown. I think they're the team in the competition that's got the most resources in terms of players. They've got a wonderful depth and options that Jose Figueira can call upon. The team probably closest to Auckland City in that regard is Team Wellington, who, to be fair to them, aren't that far off the pace. Last week, Team Wellington were without the likes of João Moreira and players of that ilk that they can call upon to then maybe change a game whilst maintaining the system and the formation that their coaches put them has charged them with.
Bale with a bit of space. Wide. Back to Howison.
I think the point, though, Narelle, is that outside of that top two, it's very much anyone's game now for who makes the top four. Teams will not only be looking to pick up 3 points, but they'll be taking 3 points off their competitors because they'll be playing each other any given round.
Yeah, and after this, Canterbury face Team Wellington and then finishing off their campaign against the Wellington Phoenix reserves. So not an easy final run-in for them.
No, absolutely. We've seen that Wellington Phoenix side be able to take points off teams. Two very important fixtures.
Just switching it up here. Tom Schwartz sends the ball, but Rogers looks to have it covered, and back to the goalie, goes between his legs. A bit of a miscommunication there between Alfie Rogers and Cam Brown. Jacob, you being a former goalkeeper, you must know all about that. What happened there?
Oh, just checking the bench there. Inyal Zubi-Karai, the Auckland City goalkeeper coach, isn't too worried about that. I did hear Cam Brown calling as he came for the ball, but I don't think he can wait there. He's got to go and get that ball in front of Alfie Rogers. Alfie Rogers coming back into the team, will still be settling into the game, and Cam Brown there probably could have been a bit more assertive. Ultimately came to nothing, but those mistakes are starting to mount up for Auckland City, which will be giving Canterbury United heart.
Matheson with the corner. Heads up, just goes over and wide. Great chance though for Canterbury United.
And again, Garvin Coughlin there, putting the pressure. He's the one that's triggering this press from Canterbury United. He's doing well to block the inside channels. They don't want Auckland City to play into the midfield through the likes of Al-Khalisi, Illich and Howison. They're trying to force them out wide and then initiating a press. And it's been very fruitful so far.
Caltech. Out to Rogers. Gets the ball safely to Brown on that occasion. Across now to Mitchell, who's looking for his options.
And here we see the envelope starting to close. Cam Mitchell coming out of that midfield. Forcing that ball back into Cam Brown. Good pressure there from Canterbury United. Another small victory for them in this opening stanza of the match.
Yep, great work from the South African-born Lyle Matheson, who gets it back here. Great cross in with his left foot. Rogers heads it to safety, but only just.
Oh, very dangerous there from Matheson. Wonderful ball, and Cam Brown didn't know whether to come for that one or not, and ultimately Alfie Rogers having to tuck that one away.
Dangerous ball across the box. And looks like Luke Tung will take the corner. Interesting.
A bit of a change here, going for an outswinger instead of an inswinger. The inswingers were very dangerous for Canterbury United. And that one very much not.
They'll try to get the second ball back in. Matheson out there, calls for a handball. And shot away, and Canterbury United have won themselves another corner.
Auckland City need to spark up a bit here. It's very lethargic from them. It's very much, it seems that there's a hangover from the Eastern Suburbs, from the Team Wellington victory last week. A game where they were so resolute, they were so organised and motivated. That seems to be lacking here in the opening phases.
Tongue to take. Rogers again, headers it away. And Matheson puts it back in. And Brown takes that one safely. Just wanting to calm things down a wee bit.
No, you're absolutely right. And it looks like Canterbury United are very happy in this particular phase of the play. They'll let Auckland City have the ball in and around the 18-yard box. Caltech, Illich and Mitchell can have the ball as much as they want, but then as soon as it goes into these wide areas, that's where Canterbury United are starting to engage. And they're doing so in a very organised way. Taguchi and Mitchell are releasing themselves from deeper midfield spots, and they're going out and pressing. And then the likes of Matheson, Coughlin and Ihia Delaney are looking to press all the way through to Cam Brown.
Illich now, out to Caltech. Finds Manikim. Doesn't get that one under control, but he wins it back here. Dylan Manikim, we know how skillful he is. Through to Al-Khalisi, and Rogerson Inside the area now, wanting to dance his way past the Canterbury defence. Opts for Vale. And this is good signs for Auckland City. This is the first time we've really seen them in the other end. And they're just going to be patient with this build-up. And as you mentioned, Jacob, Canterbury aren't afraid to press. As Rogers back to Manicum. Here comes the shot. And doesn't seem to trouble Danny Knight on that occasion.
That is the uncertainty that you have with that knuckleball. Mario Illich there from distance, and it is a very dangerous shot that he does have, but it is one that is often unpredictable, not only for the goalkeeper, but for the person actually knocking the ball. So a lot of dip on that one, but that time Danny Knight comfortable in the fact that the ball was going wide of his right-hand post.
Okay. Danny Knight, 28 years old.
Let's see.
His 6th season with the club. He's a Canterbury United stalwart.
Yeah, it is pointed towards the field, but it is behind some boards.
And it's Caltech now. Finds Mitchell.
Made a very important save last week on the goal line, which was a large reason why Canterbury United did pick up that victory.
Yep, an impressive win over Hawke's Bay. 4 wins in total for Canterbury this season. Looking for their 5th one here. Matheson to Mitchell. Drives forward. Delaney puts the ball in. Alfie Rogers just lets it past him, wanting to take on Taguchi. Now back in support.
Yeah, it's a little tricky.
And they've managed to pass themselves out of danger and potentially look for the counter.
That's much better from Auckland City. Not only breaking the line, but bringing the opposite flank into play.
And Logan Rogerson, dangerous with the ball. Nice block though by Canterbury. It's out for a corner.
You heard cries there for that's much better as Auckland City developed that play. They did so with pep in their step. 2-touch football. Alkalisi, Illich and Mitchell combined to then break Canterbury's press. And we saw that once they got around that initial press, there was a lot of space for the likes of Rogerson to then plough forward down the right-hand side, creating a dangerous 1v1 situation and resulting in this corner.
Cam Howison alongside Alkalisi. The ball whipped in. Brian Caltek's up, but just over on that one.
Both teams looking for that near post and these early set pieces. Canterbury United doing so to good effect down the clubroom ends of Kiwitea Street, and this time Howison rolling the ball to Alkalisi, finding Brian Caltek on that near post. There's no one there from Canterbury at this point either.
Whips it in again. And Auckland City are up for it, but couldn't get much power behind it as Rogers looks to send it back in. Oh, wow, Khaleesi chasing. A bit too much on that one, though, for him. And a chance for both teams to reset. A nice sunny day here in Auckland.
You don't need to tell me that.
Yeah, we're outside in the sunshine. I don't know what it's like for the players. Hope they've got some sunblock on, though. There's Danny Knight. Looks for tongue. Cam Howison there with a bit of a high foot.
Well,
referee wants a word.
Let's not overreact here. Luke Tongue did stoop his head into that challenge, and Cam Howison had every right to go for the ball. So hopefully this is just precautionary. No. I disagree with that one.
Just telling Howison to calm things down. He's into the book though early. Captain Cam Howison already on a yellow card.
It's interesting. We saw in the A-League recently the challenge by Dorrans on Marco Rojas, and I thought that was a red card because Marco Rojas standing up, Dorrans had turned, didn't know where the ball was and brought his leg up much higher than that. That time, the difference for me was that Cam Howison, the ball was probably, if you were standing up, around about hip height to shoulder height. So it wasn't a particularly high foot from Cam Howison there, and I think probably just a talking to by John Robury would have been enough, but first yellow card of the match.
Also sets a precedent though, doesn't it, Jacob? I mean,
Well, you hope so, Narelle.
Yeah, you know if you do that, you're going to get a yellow card. So there'll be no more of those 50-50s. And John Robury spotted something else here.
A little 1v1 battle here between Cam Howson and John Robury. Not ideal from the Auckland City captain. Already frustrated that he's gone into the book. He just needs to manage things here.
If he's not careful, he'll probably be off soon.
Every chance of that. If the red mist descends, then sometimes players do have a tendency to do things that they wouldn't otherwise do. So we just need to be mindful of that.
Coughlin's looking to whip this one in. Another dangerous chance for Canterbury to edge themselves in front. In it comes. Skims off a few heads. As the ball looks to be in, and Lyle Matheson found himself in a great opportunity, but just skies that one over. He's already got 1 goal to his name this season, the 22-year-old.
Well, he's been an ever-present in a lot of Canterbury United's highlights so far this season. He saw the exact reason there. Great positioning from young Lyle Matheson off the back of the store at flick on, and unfortunately for Canterbury United, just could not get his knee over that ball.
Canterbury definitely have the better of the chances so far. As we just hit the 16-minute mark. It's Coughlin again, works his magic. Caltech read that one though, and Wilkinson.
It's been a very fruitful channel there for Canterbury United. Coughlin coming in from a central position to then combine in behind and set the likes of Wilkinson or Luke Tongue down the left-hand side from Auckland City. And at the moment, Alfie Rogers and Brian Caltech getting caught very square. There's no cover on between either of those. Rogers is looking to go and press Wilkinson, and Wilkinson is then spinning. There's a lot of room for the likes of Coughlin, Delaney, and Wilkinson to exploit.
Sends it up to the end of the field, but Canterbury look to have it under control. Trying to keep this one in. And Auckland City win the throw in. And there's a lot of talking going on the Auckland City bench between the staff. A lot of fingers being pointed.
I suspect there's going to be an adjustment here. El Khaleesi's been asked to move further forward to go and beyond the press from Canterbury United, because they are releasing players to go and press Auckland City higher up the field, but that does mean that there's going to be space. So Auckland City, to counteract this very good early organised press from Canterbury United, I think they're going to say, we'll play with less players behind the ball. We're going to put more players up in the final third or beyond that Canterbury United pressing line. You might see the likes of Cam Howson also taking a higher position in the next 5 minutes.
Bale finds Khaleesi. Back to Awad. Sends it across, and Wilkinson will look to clear the danger. Rogers hasn't even busy down this left-hand side. Alfie Rogers busy going forward and busy at the back. Illich there.
That's right, big engine from the left footer.
He's looking for Vale. There. Maybe a bit of frustration, just releasing that. And Auckland City have themselves a free kick.
It's something for Canterbury United to be mindful of. If they are going to press and they're going to look to be aggressive on the ball, particularly in that midfield third, they're going to need to make sure they get the tackles right, because those sorts of tackles could mount up. John Robury rather emphasising the point there to Ihia Delaney. But they don't want an aggregation of fouls, because that's an easy way to get into the book, and it's also an easy way for Auckland City to control the game, maintaining possession further up the field.
Mitchell now. Tries to thread it through to Awad. And Matheson read that one. Coughlin now. Trying to release Eddie Wilkinson, but doesn't quite get the precision he needed for that. And Caltech now back to Mitchell.
Definitely looks like Lee Padmore thinks that there is value in the wide areas for Canterbury United. Matheson and Wilkinson As soon as Canterbury United winning that ball, they're looking to spring forward into the space that's being left by the likes of Vale and Alfie Rogers, who do tend to take up high positions for Auckland City when the Navy Blues are in possession, as we see here.
Vale with a bit of space. Rogerson to support, sends the cross in, and Schwartz deflects it. I think there are a few calls for coming off his arm, but just a corner.
Opportunistic, rather casual there for Dan Schwartz. Very experienced central defender wearing the armband for Canterbury United.
Yeah, another veteran of the game, 31 years old, would you believe? He's got a goal to his name though this season, and when you Google him, it comes up with a German heavyweight boxer, but you've got to dig a little deeper to find out more about the central defender.
He's not far off, let's say middleweight.
Hope he doesn't hear that. Awad now. He's eyeing up Mitchell at the back post. Taguchi can't get that one. Manicum pops up with the ball. Canterbury under a bit of pressure here, and it'll be another corner. Canterbury just seeming like they have a little bit of trouble clearing the ball, and something they're probably going to have to look at tweaking for the second half. You can't give Auckland City too many opportunities because eventually they will take them. And I've lost count, but another corner.
Another corner.
For the Navy Blues.
No, there has been corners aplenty in this first half. That is right, Narelle. Canterbury United have at times put in a good spell of football, but then been caught through a lapse of concentration. So important for them to see this through at the moment.
Oh, Khaleesi with the corner. Nice ball in the box. It comes off a Canterbury here, deflects off the crossbar. Oh, Canterbury fans, wherever you're watching around the world, holding their breath there.
Well, interesting. Garvin Coughlin's been the central for Canterbury United down the clubroom end, creating a number of opportunities, and Brian Kaltak has chalked up the most number of chances from Auckland City there. Again, another header, this time crashing off the crossbar.
Yeah, well, we know he's dangerous in the air. He's already got 2 goals this season. A 27-year-old. Definitely a danger man when it does come to those set pieces. And Howson with the throw-in.
Very comfortable at the back, Brian Kaltak, but someone that can also play in the defensive midfield. Has a Joel Matip number in him as well, and he will go wandering at some point out the back, and not in a unorganised way. Knows what he's doing, looking to release, looking to move the opposition around.
Jordan Vale trying to connect with Mohamed Awad. Keep possession.
2 names we haven't really said much of so far. Awad and Manicum from Auckland City. Canterbury United keeping them very quiet, which coach Lee Padmore will be happy with.
Illich, bit of head tennis going on. Yes, Taguchi's trying to get involved. Back to Brown, and I was actually speaking to Lee Padmore during the week, and he says they play similar to the Phoenix. 2 up top, 2 10s, and press them on the outside, which we've seen them do here. Describing his players as warriors. I think they've only got 17, 18 first team players, so.
An efficient squad, Narelle.
It's a great word.
You can see the benefits of that. Canterbury United perhaps not having those combinations settled at the start of the year, letting points go, and then recently coming into form, grinding out results, either draws or wins. So definitely bearing fruit.
And a lot of the Canterbury United Dragons players actually represent Kashmir Technical in the Winter League. Of course, I think they won 3 trophies this season, so already a lot of chemistry, but of course when you mix that in with other players, it does take a while to gel, but they're peaking at the right time though, Canterbury.
They are. They've definitely got momentum heading into this fixture, and they've done well in the opening stanza.
Ball through to Rogers. Luke Tongue looks to get ahead on that one. And Alfie Rogers has been very busy today. Back to Howison. Manicum. You know, he's very good with his feet. Also a futsal white player. Back to Khaleesi, who pulls the trigger. Shot comes in, and Danny Knight just gets a touch on that one to send it over. A great effort though from Auckland City.
Well, as he did last week against Team Wellington, Al Khaleesi finds room on the edge of the box, and as we said, he's going to look to get further forward and receive the ball in pockets, and we saw a great example there. Great touch from the young man, opens out, knocks that ball inside to out. A little bit of swaz there as Danny Knight helps that one over the crossbar. Adam Highfield, goalkeeper coach for Canterbury United, will be happy with that.
Auckland City.
Oh, they're not dealing with Brian Caltech. Story there, still too late. 2 yards too late behind Brian Caltech. They're going to need to really address that. The marking there from Canterbury United is leaving a lot of space in that near post. They're going man for man with a zonal marking around the 6 yard box, but it's leaving a lot of space outside the front post.
Luke Tongue just wanting to get this one right and try to maintain position, something they haven't done for the last 5 minutes or so. The pendulum just seems to be swinging back in the favour of the hosts. Have just taken a little bit longer to get into this game, but now that they're there, they do look very comfortable. Auckland City just passing it around at the back, waiting for an option to open up.
It has been noticeable that Auckland City are starting to look to switch the ball a lot more. They're not trying to force a ball down one side.
Mannequin decides to turn and gets tripped up there by Taguchi.
Of course, if they do get that ball, let's say from left to right, as we just saw there, it does mean that Canterbury United do have to get a lot of running done. Collectively, they'll have to cover a lot of ground to having press and then recovering back.
Awag doesn't quite get past Canterbury on that one. They get it back though, Auckland City. Caltech. Caltech looking for Awad. Can't keep that one under control.
Beautiful ball there from Brian Caltech. We talked about his skills in possession, and we saw a range of passing that he does possess coming to the floor there. That time Muhammad Awad not patient enough. Didn't really believe that that ball was going to find its way over Sam Field's head. And had he done so, had he been a bit more patient, he would have found himself bearing down on Danny Knight's goal.
Delaney trying to kick the ball in. Howson back to Caltech. Another nice ball to Vale, but the flag's gone up for offside.
Brian Caltech going through a bit of a purple patch with his passing here, but that time Jordan Vale, a bit lazy is not the right word, but he needs to do better there. He can see the full back line for Canterbury United, and they stand out today at Kiwitea Street in their black and red. And he just needs to adjust as that line comes up.
Knight. Well read by Logan Rogerson. Wilkinson applying some pressure on Alfie Rogers. The 223's going at it. And in comes some support. Delaney putting Brown under a wee bit of pressure. Coughlin now.
Great work from Field.
And now Matheson with his dangerous left foot. Swings it in. Collected though by Brown. Almost.
Oh, he's looking very, very sharp, Lyle Matheson, down this left-hand side. And that ball coming off some great work by Sam Field there. Not only did he go with Awad to put pressure on the header and the clearance from Cam Brown, he then stayed up the field and won the ball, which meant that Canterbury United could spring forward. Happy with his start as a Cantabrian, Narelle?
Yes, very promising signs. Although I don't think it's going to stay at the scoreline too much longer.
Oh, it's far too hot for that.
Coughlin now. Out to Tongue, a former Wellington Phoenix reserves player. Taguchi clears that one up. Storer. Trying their luck down the right-hand side flank now, Canterbury. As Eddie Wilkinson does well there in a tight space. Caltech's read that one. And here comes the pressure again from Delaney. Not afraid to put his body on the line, is he?
No, very industrious player, particularly industrious for someone who leads the line. Saw that last year with Hawke's Bay United. A number of his opportunities that he does win, and he wins because he works so hard to get them. Putting defenders under pressure, making those runs that potentially other players wouldn't make.
Yep, his first season with Canterbury. 1 goal to his name so far, and he's been busy up front for the Dragons today. There's Auckland City. Dancing around on the edge of the area. So composed in that position. And Danny Knight will take the goal kick. As we've just hit the half-hour mark.
Yeah, that's right. Important for everyone at home, make sure you still use those QR codes. A couple of community cases confirmed this afternoon. If you are heading to a game or you're heading out to get a couple of beers this afternoon, keep summer safe, isn't that the saying?
Keep summer safe, yep. Auckland City just possessing and look for the quick counter, but no one was there.
Now, Alcalisi could have been a bit more patient there. Dylan Manicum hadn't made, well, the run hadn't matured, and Logan Rogerson was steaming down the left-hand side as well, so he did have a few more options, and I think he realised.
Luke Tung didn't quite read that one for Wilkinson, who had already made his run.
This is the phase of the game where players are starting to get tired, so they feel under more pressure. They feel like they've got less time, and we're just seeing that in the decisions, particularly on the ball from both sides in the last few minutes.
Lovely ball out to Rogerson, if he can get on the end of that one. Oh. Tries to keep it in, but a goal kick. And we know Rogerson has some pace.
He does. And he's dangerous in those one-on-one situations. He's either looking to get a shot off to potentially provide an assist to a teammate, or looking to make the defender commit. And there and winning a penalty for Auckland City. We saw that last week. He's very adept at doing that.
Yep, 5 goals for Rogerson this season, as well as Dylan Manicum, both on 5, leading goal scorers for Auckland City. And they've been pretty prominent here today.
It was interesting that last week, Team Wellington in their preparation noted how fluid Auckland City had been since Christmas. Under Ramon Trabilic, we have seen as a core component of Auckland City the fact that they control the game, that they wear teams down through aggregation, through attrition. Jose Figueira's Auckland City side potentially bring a bit more of a spring forward.
Great touch there by Coughlin just to send it into Delaney. More of the same though, wee thumbs up.
Absolutely. Figueira's side happy to keep possession, potentially deeper, looking to stretch an opponent, and then allowing the likes of Manicum, Rogerson and Awad in this Auckland City starting side the chance to then get at opponents.
Well, Jacob, you'd have to say the title is Auckland City's to lose from here, under a huge amount of pressure.
And we've said that in countless years in the past as well, Narelle.
Rogerson showing off his tricky footwork, gets shoved over, and the referee pulls back for a free kick in a very dangerous position. And Coughlin just wanting a few words. Slowing things down, Canterbury United.
And you'd want to. This free kick, perhaps a little bit close to get a shot off. Alcalisi looks particularly interested in it, but the likes of Awad and Howison also loitering around the ball at this point. There's not much distance between the ball and the goal. Whoever takes is going to have to be very disciplined in making sure they get the ball up and down.
Well, now we've got Rogerson joining them. So, one of the 4, take your pick, Jacob.
Free kick by committee.
Auckland City.
And this will be Alcalisi. I suspect he might be going for Danny Knight's side of the goal here. The keeper's very central.
Alcalisi with a chance to put Auckland City in front. Hits the wall. Caltex lurking at the back post and cleans it up. Awa just couldn't keep that one under control. And crisis avoided.
A little bit too casual there from Awad. That was a promising situation for Auckland City. They had sustained pressure. They'd won the free kick. They then kept the ball. And he was in a 1v1 situation out that right flank. So definitely one that he'll want back.
Oh, 10 minutes until the halftime break. Canterbury will just be hoping to get there at 0-0. But for Auckland City, a great chance for them to give themselves a lead heading into the break.
Oh, you're right.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there, Narelle. Lee Padmore definitely will be the happier of the two coaches going to 0-0. I don't think Figueroa will be too worried, but it'll be a victory more for Canterbury United.
And Eddie Wilkinson there, just a little bit ahead of the ball. Housen back to Caltech, and the pressure from Delaney. Great intercept there. Back to Wilkinson, who was looking for the run from Taguchi, who said, why'd you do that?
And he's asking a very fair question there, Taguchi. No one breaking forward there for Canterbury United. Wilkinson should have looked to keep possession. He had Matheson and Taguchi to his left. Coughlin had dropped off. He'd been making sure that he'd closed the back door for Canterbury United as part of their press. It did win them the ball. And those sorts of decisions then around, that could have been a situation for Canterbury United. Auckland City was stretched. They committed players forward when they were playing out, and that was a real chance for the red and black.
Rogerson now, outnumbered but not outmaneuvered. Ops for Rogers. Illich, who fakes the ball in. Now it's a Vale, and Awad's in support. Illich was looking for Al Khaleesi. Coughlin's got it back, but Delaney's well manned. And Canterbury take the throw in quickly. Delaney charging into the box. Taguchi's free in the middle. Opts for himself. Oh. And the shot goes wide, and Taguchi was coming in on that back post. Is that the right decision?
I think he's made the right decision there. He had Delaney. And that all came from Jordan Vale and Adam Mitchell tackling themselves, which leads to the free quick throw in from Canterbury United. Delaney bearing down on goal, opened himself up, trying to find that far post. I think for all money, he had Cam Brown beaten. Unfortunately for him, it was the wrong side of the post. And that would have been a great result for Canterbury United, who would have, I think, just sat on a 1-0 lead going into half-time.
Yeah, well, that's the sort of skill Delaney possesses. There's Rogerson now down the other end. Looking for Awad. Looks to be Mitchell.
It's been a constant theme from Auckland City there, Narelle. When they're building up play, it hasn't been very disciplined. It hasn't been the Auckland City that we typically know. Noticeable that all the Auckland City players are coming to me, Narelle, not you.
No high fives today, that's all right, guys, don't worry.
We're on the opposite end of the field, folks. Do keep an eye out for us on the stream.
Al Khaleesi and Howison.
We'll sort that out later, though.
Yeah, we'll sort that out later. Rogerson coming in. Puts the ball in. Doesn't get a lot of height on that one. And Luke Tongue now. Coughlin. Out muscled there. No. John Robury's happy with that one.
Of course, we do have to mention the mascots and the ball boys here today. We do have a rather famous youngster in our midst, Cruz Katsanos.
That's such a cool name.
That is a fantastic name, exactly right. Cruz obviously has a name that you will be familiar with. He's the son of Dennis Katsanos, long-time advocate for football.
Yep, familiar face around these parts, isn't he?
Absolutely.
There's Luke Tongue to take the free kick.
Have a great day, Cruz. Hope you enjoy it, mate.
Yep, the next generation coming through. Auckland City previously have had a great youth program. Strong Winter League club in Central United. But unable to find the breakthrough here. And Awad now. Auckland City just taking their time, looking for the option. Vale and Awad working great down this right-hand flank.
Canterbury have dropped off here. Looks like they're trying to marshal Auckland City through to half-time.
5 minutes remaining in the first spell. 0-0.
Pass mark from the men in red and black this afternoon in this first half.
Mitchell, back to counter-attack. And comes the pressure from Canterbury. Kiwitea now, trying his luck. And Mannequin. Back to Vale now. Mannequin. Awad, what can he do? Nice ball into Cam Howison, who opts for the shot, but doesn't seem to trouble Danny Knight.
Now, that was rather a throwaway of the opportunity for Auckland City there. Patient in the build-up. Ball got to Cam Howison just outside the 18-yard, and he swung a right boot at it on his weaker side. Really didn't trouble Danny Knight at all. A little bit of frustration there, a little bit of low-key frustration from the Auckland City captain.
Knight. Up comes Delaney. Mitchell now only is far to Illich. While Matheson dispossesses, goes to ground.
Oh, that was a free kick.
Well, not according to John Robery. Play on is the decision. But perhaps signs that Auckland City are becoming a little bit frustrated. Around back to Caltech, who's got some pressure on him. And then comes a sliding challenge from Story there.
Huge willingness from Canterbury United there. We have touched on it all throughout this first half, but the pressure that they have been able to put Auckland City under. Pressing from that middle third, and then following through with it all the way back to Cam Brown. And that time we saw it wasn't the second or the third or the fourth Canterbury United player that won the ball, but the fifth.
Eddie Wilkinson done well there to get the ball out to Kiwitea. Delaney sends it back in. No one there at the back post.
Now they're just 3 or 4 yards behind at the moment, those runners. Once Canterbury United do get the ball into the wider areas, that time Delaney whipped that ball across on his left-hand side. And you just see that there's no runs getting across the Auckland City markers. A little bit more patience required from Canterbury United once they do get that ball further forward.
Well, Eddie Wilkinson on the right-hand flank. He's only 20 years old. Lee Padmore says he took a punt on him this season, putting him in the team. He's a Christchurch born and bred. Usually is used off the bench as an impact player, but was obviously impressed enough to earn himself a start. And he won't want to let Lee Padmore down.
Oh, he hasn't thus far. Good 45-minute shift there from the young Cantabrian.
Jordan Vale is taking his time with the throw-in, winding down the clock. Nice football there from Canterbury. Stora finds tongue.
Along with Wilkinson, a very impressive first half from Mitchell and Kiwitea.
Tom Schwartz looking for the long ball over top to Matheson, who's definitely outnumbered. Hofflin recovers back to field. Schwartz. Wanting Delaney to come to. He does. Field's pass intercepted, but Vale recovers. And Auckland City are charging themselves out of danger. Rogers now. Caltech. Vale's made a run. Opening up Rogerson, who's dropped a little bit deeper. He's come across to the right-hand side.
Rotation of the ball is just too slow from Auckland City at the moment. They've done well there to get the ball from left to right, but once it's got out this right-hand side, Brian Caltech has slowed the ball down. Auckland City need to stretch Canterbury United. They need to get the ball away from the press, and they can do so by switching the ball from side to side. At times, they're still getting locked into one side. We've seen Canterbury United, as we've just seen there, they do win the ball.
Khaleesi. Vale. He's got Rogerson in support, who's just shifted across. Illich to Howison. Has a wee look around. Rogerson now. Takes on Coughlin. Gets the cross away, finds Manikim. Hands it off to his captain, Howison.
Oh, and Luke Tung got out of jail there. Left Manikim. Gave him way too much room. Howison coming through on the dead run and on goal. And Story, I believe it was, got a very important block in, keeping Canterbury United at 0-0.
And the referee is just telling Vale to take it back a few metres.
We're starting to see a bit of an exodus from the crowd here.
Howison.
Heading towards the clubrooms to get something light and refreshing.
And that'll do it. Half time here at Kiwitea Street. Auckland City 0, Canterbury United Dragons 0. Both teams have had their fair share of opportunities, and they'll go into the sheds at 0-0. And we'll be back here shortly to bring you the second half. Hello and welcome back to Kiwitea Street. Half-time here between Auckland City and Canterbury United Dragons, 0-0. I'm Narelle Sindos, alongside me Jacob Spoonley. Jacob, what have you made of the first 45 minutes?
Well, it's been an entertaining affair. Canterbury United have definitely taken the game to Auckland City. Navy Blues have controlled large parts of it, so quite even in that regard. Heading into the second half, as we can see the Auckland City players there warming up. I think the benches are going to be the difference between the two sides. Auckland City have the ability to call upon the likes of Kane Vincent, Sam Brotherton, Mauro Bonsumara and Albert Riera, and that does rather leave the likes of Stroud, King, Richards and Cottam.
Well, Jacob Richards, I'm going to counter you there actually. Jacob Richards scored the goal that secured all 3 points for Canterbury against Auckland City last time round, and that was the first time they'd beaten the Navy Blues since I think the 2008-2009 season. So they do have him on the bench along with George King, the Englishman. So there is a bit of firepower off the bench, but I mean, yeah, I guess this is a time where we start talking about substitutions and how long do you leave it? Do you give the team you chose at 15 minutes? I mean, it's really anyone's guess, but...
There were some murmurings that Kane Vincent might be making an early appearance in the second half for Auckland City. And take your point that Canterbury United have been able to call upon large parts of quite a small squad. Everyone's contributed to this Canterbury United revival in the second half. However, when you're coming up against two All-Whites and a former A-League All-Star, rather sits at a little bit unbalanced in terms of the ledger between the two sides. So
fair enough.
There you go, a little bit of fire in the commentary box as it has been on the field. Canterbury against Auckland.
Well, Auckland City usually don't have any trouble in scoring. Last week, 3-1, Team Wellington. The week before that, 4-0, Hawke's Bay United. So they're just having a bit of trouble just to make it really click here. Haven't really gelled.
That's exactly right, and it has been a part of Auckland City's game that we have seen as lacking. Traditionally, they have been able to score at will here at Kiwitea Street, but Narelle, it is rather on par for what they've done so far this season. Average first goal for Auckland City has come in the 54th minute, so they do leave it rather late.
Interesting.
And they will score the further into the second half they go. So you're right, they have been scoring, but it has been later than usual.
And the second half back underway here in Auckland as the Navy Blues look to secure their 8th win of the season against the Canterbury United Dragons, who are giving them a run for their money. The visiting side been very organised and compact in defence. The only trouble they've seemed to have is when it comes to set pieces, and vice versa. The Navy Blues haven't really taken their opportunities, but they're on now. Al-Khalisi out to Awad. Back to Khaleesi. Mitchell now. Jordan Vale went for an early run, but quickly did a U-turn, and now Caltech's out to Rogers. Caltech now. Delaney still applying the pressure, which we saw in the first half. His legs must be fine. Sandfield there going up with Vale.
Coughlin and Delaney got through a large amount of work in that first half. Definitely been monitored by Padmore in the second half. Hot day here in Auckland.
Chiguchi there, held up by Al-Khalisi. Coughlin's got it back. And Auckland City have done well to keep that in. Howison now. Looking for the ball. Great ball over top to Dylan Manicum, who just took a touch, and Logan Rogerson sends the shot in. And in the end, a routine save from Danny Knight. Logan Rogerson looking for a 6th goal of the season. We'll have to do better than that.
Well, it was a great ball from Howison, and Manicum rather misstepped as he bore down on Danny Knight's goal. A mistouch meant that he had to go back for the ball, and that allowed the likes of Schwartz and Storer to get back in and choke the opportunity in combination with a fairly solid save from Danny Knight. A comfortable save, but a confident one.
Building it up again. Now Auckland City. Mitchell back to Brown. Fires it out to Caltech. Howson's found himself in some space. Rogerson was tripped down on the run just off your screen. Awad's got that under control though, looking dangerous. Rogerson to Rogers. Finds Howison in the box. Blocked away by Storer. And they've got themselves a throw-in, Auckland City.
And this early pressure from Auckland City is coming because Cam Howison is finding gaps, finding space beyond that Canterbury United pressure.
Mitchell to Delaney, looking for the counter. Matheson. Back to Schwartz. To Gucci, to Storer. Was born in Papua New Guinea, but has been in New Zealand since he was about 5 years old. Considers himself a New Zealander. Big unit at the back alongside Schwartz.
That is a rather formidable combination, the number 5 and number 4 for Canterbury United. Canterbury here will be looking to keep possession for a while, looking to take the sting out of this fresh Auckland City start.
Shot away from Coughlin. And doesn't seem to trouble Brown. But that's what we haven't really seen Canterbury do, is taking shots from distance.
No. Although, I think Padmore would have asked his troops to be a bit more patient when they get in and around that Auckland City 18-yard box. Again, Auckland City able to get beyond this Canterbury United pressure, get the ball into Howson, and now got the momentum.
Great run from Rogers to Rogerson, who sends it in. Gets past Storer, not past Schwartz though.
That's been the difference between Auckland City in the first half and the second half, as we see the flagged raise for offside there. So the release valve lifted from Canterbury United, but Cam Howison controlling things at the start of this first half.
Yep, leading by example, Howison. So we have another look at this.
Canterbury United there. Delaney looking to get that press sorted. But that's the important part there. Might not seem much, but if Auckland City can get that lateral ball and get Cam Howison in space, and Canterbury United importantly not able to disrupt the Navy Blues, then that's going to be danger signs in the second half for the men in red and black.
Taguchi. Matheson sends it in, headed away, and the Dragons have themselves a corner.
There'll be an in-swinger, Luke Tung trotting across to take this one. Hard to miss with that haircut.
Chance for Canterbury now. And it comes. Cleared by Awad.
Well, they're looking for that ball into the near post to get a flick on from the likes of, I think it's Delaney or Wilkinson making that darting run across the Auckland City near post. And they're leaving Storer and Schwartz out the back. Unfortunately for Canterbury United, the ball simply isn't getting there at this point. Might be worthwhile considering a more direct approach to their big troops at that back post.
Big throw in there from Canterbury. They'll get the seconds, but
Auckland City now need to get through the gears here, moving this ball side to side. As you see Canterbury United engaging in that press.
nice work from Manikim to get past Tung. He's got Rogerson with him. Rogers now. Flicks it back to Rogerson. Returns the favour into the box. And easy enough for Knight there. Who's trying to evade Awad. He's making a nuisance of himself. That can't be fun.
No, that's a good, easy way to wind a goalkeeper up. But already in the second half, Canterbury United, they've had to make 4 or 5 collective recovering runs once Auckland City has got beyond their press. And I've made the point several times, but that's going to start to wear. When you combine that with the work that they've put in the first half and this heat here at Kiwitea Street, it's not adding up to a result that is friendly to Canterbury United. They need to sort this out. They need to get to where they were in that first half. That organised pressure.
Rogerson gets past the red shirts with ease. Opts for Al-Khalisi. Oh, some nice work there from Al-Khalisi. I can't thread it back through.
I'd done all the hard work there. Just needed to roll it off to Cam Howson.
Wilkinson now. Busy in the first half. Switches it up. Matheson. Threads it through to Taguchi. And Mitchell's there.
Well, Mitchell needs to be careful there. Not the most sophisticated defending there from the Auckland City number 3. Auckland have started well here. They don't want to leave the back door open for Canterbury United.
Here comes the throw-in, which looks like it's going to be well and truly into the box. Al-Khalisi clears the danger. Mannequin with some pace down the middle. Mitchell dispossesses him. Coughlin gets a quick shot away. Can't get that one on target though.
No, he had Lyle Matheson bearing down. If he just opened up and looked over his left shoulder, he would have seen the number 19 for Canterbury United. He was making the run in between Jordan Vale and Adam Mitchell, and I don't think Mitchell knew where he was. Again, patience. Canterbury United just need a little bit more of it. Just take a little bit extra time. Have a look around when they do win that ball off Auckland City in that midfield third.
Mannequin now. Storer on his back. Nice block there from Storer. Illich was charging in. So too was Coughlin. And the offside flag's gone up. But Canterbury, the pieces are there. They just need to put it together. Mitchell out to Rogerson. Does well to keep that in. Howson tucks it over to Mannequin and Schwartz leaves it. I guess that's an experience thing. Just knew it'd be picked up behind him.
No, he's done very well there. Knew that Mannequin was the only Auckland City player in the box, and if that ball went over his head, there was no one there but Danny Knight to go and pick up the ball.
Knight looking for Wilkinson.
Has been a great servant of Canterbury United, Schwartz.
Yep, used to play with his twin brother, as we all know. Not the case anymore. Dan Terrace, another stalwart in the Canterbury defence, is in the coaching team today. Great foundations as Coughlin keeps that one under control, only just the offside flag.
I'm not sure if Dan Terrace is trying to match Tom Brady in terms of still playing once you get over 40, but he is played a role in this Canterbury United side from its inception.
Kiwitea to Illich, who finds himself in some space.
1-2 with John Robury.
Tung to Mitchell. Wilkinson got his head up quickly there, looking for his teammates. Couldn't pull that one off to Delaney, who looks a little bit frustrated, not getting the service he perhaps wants.
And that's the key, that frustration. You don't want that setting in from Canterbury United. They've done so well to keep it at 0-0 thus far in the match. They were creating chances. They are still winning the ball off Auckland City, and they need to convert those into chances. But to do so, they need everyone pulling in the same direction.
Mitchell now. Awad. It's over to Al-Khalisi, who couldn't keep it under wraps, and Tom Schwartz clears the danger. Safety first.
Well, Danny Knight needed to get across there and tell his big centre-back, who's in a bit of a scuffle here with Al-Khalisi, that he was in a better spot to clear that ball.
Yep, John Robury quick to the scene.
Alcalisi not one to take a backward step, even if he is giving a little bit in reach and height and weight to Dan Schwartz. I think this is just a quiet chat between the three on a hot day here in Kiwitea Street.
Yusuf Alcalisi received huge praise from Captain Cam Howison after that win last week over Team Wellington. He's only 23 years old. His third season with City, coming across from Tasman, but previously Auckland City youth player, so it's good to see him back here, where perhaps it all started.
Absolutely. I think it was the quality of the questions that were asked of Cam Howison that did result in that.
Oh, you did the interview, did you? Oh, subtle.
No, he did play very well in the top of the table clash last week. Brought energy to that Auckland City midfield and combated the likes of Barcia and Bevan, two very dangerous players from Team Wellington. Rightly deserving of that praise from his captain.
Howison, though, under a little bit of pressure, does well to work himself out of the danger. And Luke Tongue is coming into the back. Rogerson there.
And that's a great example of the arm wrestle that's going on. Canterbury United are committing to the press. They're looking to maintain it into the second half. And that means they're covering a lot of ground to get close to the ball. They just need that commitment and conviction, which wasn't shown there by Wilkinson. He needed to be snapping at the heels of Howison once he'd gone down under that initial contact.
Mitchell. Coughlin. Evades Arwad. Switches it up to Wilkinson. He can keep it under control. He does. He's got Tongue in support with him. Oh, unfortunately, couldn't keep a hold of that one.
Well, that was great play from Coughlin there, finding the right-hand side of Wilkinson and Tongue, and the combination play opened up Auckland City. Just tangling of feet meant that the ball went over the back line there, taking the sting out of that phase of play.
Vale now. Back to Mitchell. Celtic now. Just getting a little bit impatient. A bit too much on that one for Arwad to get ahead to, at least. And now it's Canterbury's turn. Danny Knight. Out to Tongue. He's got a wee bit of space. Howison approaching. Does well to find Coughlin. Lovely touch to get that one down. Lovely little 1-2. Doesn't manage to keep it in, though.
That was a really good play from Canterbury United there. Again, Garvin Coughlin being involved. Danny Knight confidently knocking that ball out to the right-hand side, fighting Luke Tongue, who then went direct. Ultimately rolling out for another goal kick from Auckland City, but again, good piece of play from Canterbury United.
You just get the sense that a goal will come if they manage to keep it up. And as we mentioned, George King, Jacob Richards on the bench. I wonder when Lee's thinking about introducing that pair. As Auckland City are looking relatively settled. Celtic opting for Rogerson. Rogers wants some help. Arwad's come across the left-hand side. Coughlin goes in with the challenge. Mario Illich now. It's tripped up by Delaney. A wee bit of a scuffle, and it looks like Delaney's going to be going into the book as well.
Mario Illich not happy here.
Is it on replay?
Fairly agricultural challenge there from Ihia Delaney. One that Illich
Oh, it's yellow card.
believes was not required at all, and Delaney going into John Robury's book.
Professional foul, though, would you say, Jacob?
I would say for another player it might have been a professional foul, but for a striker coming back, that is something that is typical. Wanting to win the ball, wanting to do well, great intention, but one of the fouls that you'd expect a striker to make, given their inexperience, shall we say, in terms of those situations.
Howson and Alkalisi. Howson whips it in. Tongue headers it out.
Oh no,
Nail
sorry.
out. Charging forward.
Saying that it was a yellow card just before.
Illich looking for support in the box. Opts to go back to Caltech. Howson's made the run, opening up some space for Rogerson. Nice little 1-2 with his captain. Sends it back in, but can't manage to get it on the right side of goal.
Notice the camera keeps taking itself out of focus as well.
And it'll be a corner.
Which is not ideal.
Khaleesi back to Rogers. We've seen this before. Sends it in. Mitchell's up. And Canterbury give themselves a free kick.
Delayed call there from John Robury. Clear foul from Mitchell. Well, it just needs to be careful here. A little bit of afters there with Sam Field. Look to be over nothing. Both benches getting active. Narelle saw Canterbury United warming up behind Cam Brown's goal, and we have Auckland City's bench here in front of us. Suspect it'll be an attacking change from one of the sides.
Eddie Wilkinson now pulls the trigger. Again, unable to get it on target, but found himself some space to do so. And the changes that you were predicting, Jacob, have started. And it's Jacob Richards coming on in place of the higher Delaney. A like-for-like replacement. Jacob Richards. He's the leading goal scorer for Canterbury. 4 goals this season, 1 assist.
And importantly, a goal against Auckland City, Narelle.
That's right. He'll be looking to do the same here again.
As you noted, played a very important role for Canterbury United down at English Park in the reverse fixture. Just looking at the front line for the men in red and black, there's not much height with Delaney's departure. Delaney, over 6 foot, has now left the field, and that means that Wilkinson, Matheson, and Richards are leading the front line, and there's not really much height amongst those three. There's pace, there's guile, but that physical presence to keep the likes of Mitchell and Caltech occupied simply isn't there any longer.
Eddie Wilkinson evades Cam Howison, gets the cross in. Matheson, I think, got the shot away.
Well, there you go. That's exactly what Lee Padmore will be looking for. Canterbury United starting to operate in the gaps and the spaces that Auckland City's back line is allowing them.
And perhaps it's not a bad thing that Canterbury, as you mentioned, have lost that height in the forwards, because Auckland City, Brian Caltech, Adam Mitchell, solid centre backs, looking for more of the same. Bulls on the carpet.
Absolutely right. Mitchell and Caltech both imperious in the air. Love a 1v1 battle. If Canterbury United can now play to the fact that they'll be tired, they've played 60-odd minutes. And
Rogers.
If they've got the Canterbury United players nipping at the heels, they could force something here.
Auckland City looking like they almost want to walk the ball into the goal.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, as we've got another change here.
Eddie Wilkinson done for the day. In comes George King, the Englishman.
Well, 2 out of 3 cards played by Padmore. I think that's a really mature and sensible decision from him. Getting into that phase of the game where coaches often aren't sure if they want to make the change. It might upset what they've got. And Padmore there deciding that.
Khaleesi almost found Mohammed Awad. Danny Knight read that one nicely.
Padmore deciding that there's more value in getting the fresh legs on.
Mitchell. Back to Story. Coughlin with the throw-in. Doesn't want King to take. Tongue back out to Story. Storer, I should say. Howson, important foot in there. They've got him well covered though, Canterbury. Not letting him go forward.
No, that's great. That's exactly what Padmore will be looking for. Not one of the new boys, but Mitchell this time, really leading the charge. And that's a small victory for Canterbury United.
Nice work there from Field. Looks to have released Jacob. Jacob Richards, and you can see his pace, looking for George King at the back post. Alfie Rogers with an important touch away. And then it comes again. A nice wee spell from Canterbury. The substitutions making an instant impact.
Absolutely. Buzzing around at the moment, both defensively and in attack. And they've brought a freshness, a clip to this Canterbury United side. Giving Auckland City something to think about here.
Nice ball through to Dylan Manicum, who's got Awad with him. Store it. Drags him down, and the referee says penalty.
We're going to have another look at that one. There was contact. I'm not sure if there was enough, though, to give a penalty. Again, Dylan Manicum not getting through on goal, having to stop and take the ball back. Well, I think Canterbury United can be disappointed with that. Andrew Storer got sucked into the challenge. He's not arguing. I'm just not sure if that contact was stopping Awad from getting the shot off.
Yeah, Awad, so small and skillful and quick. I think he caught Storer just a little bit off guard. And now Auckland City have themselves the perfect opportunity to put themselves in front and finally break the deadlock.
Howson went down the middle last week. Interesting to see what he's going to do here.
Cam Howson to put City in front, and he does so. Captain Howson, his 4th goal of the season, and more importantly, gives the Navy Blues a 1-0 advantage midway through the second half, on their way to the minor premiership title.
Oh, they'll be happy with that. That's exactly what they were looking for. They needed a goal
They go back to midfield.
to get ahead, to get them on track to secure these 3 points, and Cam Howson this time going to the keeper's left. Scott Basale dove last week, and that's disappointing for Canterbury United. They had put in such a good shift, and they gave away such a small opportunity for Auckland City.
Auckland City wanting to make a substitution.
And it looks like Yusuf El-Khalisi's coming off. And John Roby's decided that they were taking too long. They'll continue with the game.
He's had enough. Mohammed Awad this time pulling down Canterbury United. Schwartz.
And obviously, Auckland City wanted to score. They wanted to go up, but it's important in the context of this game because they can now sit back, they can defend Canterbury United, they can deny them the space that would have been there at 0-0. More than that, Auckland City can counter-attack. They can look to release the likes of Manicum and Awad and utilise that fluidity that we made note of last week.
Well, Auckland City finally have the advantage. What do you expect them to do with it, Jacob? Sit on it, or will they look to add a few more?
I think they'll look to add a few more. I think they will have in their mind maybe 2 or 3-0 would be the ideal result for them today. They're attacking the clubroom end, which is what they want to do in the second half. They've got control of the game. They've been solid in possession. They're still giving Canterbury United chances, though, which is something that they'll want to really nullify. And they might look to stamp their authority on the game by introducing the likes of all-white Sam Brotherton.
Nice ball over the top to Logan Rogerson, who's got Storer, who's probably still got the thoughts in his mind of giving away that penalty just moments before. Illich back to Mitchell.
Just by the way he reacted, you could almost see that he saw that he'd given the chance away. It was a tired-looking challenge.
Oh, wide now. Finds Rogerson. Lovely back heel to Cam Howison, who looks to make it 2-0. Luke Tongue clears it off the line. Wow, all go.
Oh, wonderful defending there from Knight and Tongue. Luke Tongue keeping that one just by a big toe off the goal line. Great interplay there. Finding Cam Howison all by and lonesome. And Danny Knight, in combination with Luke Tongue, gets that ball off of the line and away for Canterbury United.
Auckland City almost putting the game beyond doubt. 2-0 would have been a hard task to come back from, as Auckland City have made the change.
And Mario Illich coming off. Kane Vincent, he'll occupy the space up front. And it looks like Mohamed Awad will stay on the right-hand side. Logan Rogerson down the left now. And Dylan Manikim dropping into the midfield, with Cam Howison dropping into the defensive midfield and occupying the space left by Mario Illich.
Kane Vincent, 32-year-old, born in Japan, has played in India, Australia, Thailand, Malaysia. And now he's representing Auckland City. Gives him a bit more of a physical presence up front, just by looking at him.
He does. It does. He does have the ability, as a traditional number 9 does, to provide a platform for the side, but he's also got pace and power. So if he does get on the turn and get him behind Schwartz or Storer, expect him to stay there and really start making a bit more of a direct line for Auckland City through to goal.
Howison finds Vale. Awad. Back to Al-Khalisi. Awad wants to take Matheson on. Gets it back. Looking to create some space. But that's nice work there from Matheson to release Coughlin, who's got a few navy blue shirts with him. George King back in support. And they win themselves a throw-in.
Great work from Matheson there. Won the ball, and as soon as he did so, sprang forward, dropped the ball off to Coughlin, and then occupied the central role. You can sense the urgency here from Canterbury United.
Well, they need at least something to stay in the hunt of the top 4. Team Wellington next week, followed by the Wellington Phoenix Reserve. It doesn't get any easier for them.
No, big fixtures. We're definitely into the business end of the competition.
Caltech now. Out to Rogers. Navy Blues slowing things down. Clever touch from Rogerson. Can't find Manikim. And Canterbury just giving away possession. A little bit careless with the ball. And now Logan Rogerson has the chance to double their advantage. Looks to slot it home. And he does so. That's more like it. Logan Rogerson doubles the lead for Auckland City, scoring his 6th goal of the season.
Oh, and that rather sums up the second half there. Canterbury United, wonderful interplay. Broke down Auckland City, ended up giving the ball away, and they defended stoutly there. Really good angles from Danny Knight, forced Rogerson to shoot across, gave himself a bit more time, gave the likes of Storer more time to get that block in, and then just unfortunate. The ball fell kindly there to Logan Rogerson, who tucked it away on the left-hand side. A tidy finish, but a disappointing one for Canterbury United.
Yeah, well, time slowly running out for the visitors. They need to answer back, and it needs to be soon. Luke Tongue. King has made the run. Richards managed to get the cross away. And Tongue again. Dispossessed by Manningham. Sliding challenge in. Advantage to the Navy Blues as Muhammad Awad charges forward. Manningham now. Back to Awad, who manages to get past Storer. And it's still alive here for Auckland City. Logan Rogerson, towering header, unable to get enough power behind it to trouble Danny Knight and make it 3-0.
Oh, there it is, that fluidity. That confidence, that speed in attack from Auckland City there.
Yeah, Auckland City is starting to look a bit more like themselves late in the second half.
Look like they're enjoying this.
Coughlin now. What can he do? Field with the throw in. Looking for some options. Goes down the line to Coughlin, who does well to keep possession. Blocked away by Mitchell, who made sure to have his arms behind his back. Storer. Taguchi.
I think he's the key for Canterbury United getting back into this game. He's got to get on the ball more. He's got to get in these sorts of pockets and then bring the likes of Coughlin and King into the game.
Yep, Taguchi's been a little bit quiet this second spell. King. Well shepherded away though by Al-Khalisi.
And in possession, Canterbury United have been wonderful in between the 18 yards today. They've just lacked that bit of quality at times to unlock Auckland City. They have forced mistakes from the Navy Blues, but we just haven't seen them being able to get those shots on target and create those chances that would punish the Navy Blues on the final roll of the dice.
Caleb Cottam coming into the action late for Lyle Matheson.
Canterbury's got to keep grinding here. They've been able to create chances and turnovers all game long through being organised and pressing Auckland City, who have at times been pretty lethargic with their rotation of the ball, their circulation in that back third.
Yeah, Canterbury United perhaps just running out of a little bit of steam. Just under 10 minutes of regular time to play. Cottam putting pressure on Al-Khalisi. Referee playing advantage here. Howson across to Rogerson. The two internationals linking up. Rogers getting in the mix. Backtracking though. And the Navy Blues have worked themselves out of that press from Canterbury. Logan Rogerson goes himself. Nice footwork into the edge of the area. Vincent with what looked to be a volley, but couldn't pull it off.
Beautiful play there from Logan Rogerson. Had the Canterbury United defenders going every which ways. And that time, unfortunately for Kane Vincent, his standing foot rather got in the way before he's able to make clean contact with the ball.
Yep, you can see him winding that one up. And it's Auckland City back to Brown. Mitchell to Taguchi. Here's a chance for Canterbury.
Oh, that willingness has been so impressive from Canterbury United today. Mitchell has got through an absolute power of work. Every time that Canterbury United have been in and around that box, he's been a player that's been centrally involved, either shutting down a passing lane or making sure that he gets the intervention in to win Canterbury United the ball.
Rogers to Howison. Push in the back from Storer on Vincent. And it's taken quickly. Auckland City want another one. Rogers making the overlapping run. He's got Awad in the box. Just getting a little bit lost over that one, Alfie Rogers. Now Khaleesi now pulls the trigger and just goes wide. Auckland City definitely aren't slowing down though, Jacob.
No, Canterbury need to be mindful here. They don't want to keep conceding. They've got to keep that goal difference in check. It's going to be an important factor as we make the calculations for the final four. And Auckland City looking for a double change here. We're going to see Sam Brotherton coming onto the field as well as Maru Bonsu-Maru.
Yep, Alfie Rogers. His work's done for the day.
And Muhammad Awad has left the field. So Brotherton and Maru Bonsu-Maru on. Awad and Alfie Rogers get an early rest. Interesting here. Sam Brotherton has traditionally played centre-back, is a naturally left-footed player, so being utilised here by Fagetta in the left-back role.
Yep, the 12 cap all white. He has had experience in Sunderland's under 18 and under 23 setup. Looks like a versatile player. And he's getting a wee bit of game time here since signing with Auckland City in January.
Great character as well.
We'll take your word for that, Jacob.
Really professional approach to football.
His tongue takes a throw in for Canterbury. Looking for the runs. George King tried to make himself an option. Howson. Almost intercepted by Coughlin there. Howson. Mitchell on his back.
Energizer, buddy.
Yeah, Mitchell's the one doing all the pressing. Now Khaleesi.
Can't fault Canterbury United for the tactics or the attitude here today. If they were to find themselves back at Kiwitea Street later in the season, I think they'll be happy with that first 60 minutes and they'll allow the foundation for what they'll hope to be a better performance next time around. And I think that luck will go their way on that day. Just hasn't here today.
Rogerson, who's back on the other side of the pitch. And Auckland City have themselves a corner. Canterbury United won't want any more damage to be done. As you mentioned, goal difference becomes a crucial factor in deciding the top four, and it's so congested. It's going to be a very entertaining final 2 weeks of the ISPS HANDA Premiership. As Al Khaleesi looks to take the corner. Rogerson's come short. No look pass from Al Khaleesi. Rogerson with a big cross in. Maru Bonsu-Maru gets the return. Powerful shot in. And Rogerson's in an offside position.
Well, Bonsu-Maru had Brian Caltech ducking there. A nice dead run in on goal. It's not the contact he was looking for. Cut across the ball, perhaps looking to take it away from Danny Knight and finding his left-hand side.
Oof, Knight wants to get that one out. And Richards. Storer to Mitchell. Can't manage to stay on his feet. And Dylan Manicam's on a dangerous run. Almost finds Vincent. Mitchell now leading the charge again. Switches it up, but easily taken for Vale, who opts to go back to his goalkeeper. Howson now is Auckland City winding down the clock. Mitchell. Schwartz is a little bit up and doesn't really amount to anything. Tom Schwartz, though, the right idea, but doesn't manage to pull it off.
No, a bit tired there from the Canterbury United captain. I think a better option would have been to continue charging down towards goal. He's got nothing to lose here. Being that high up in possession, there wasn't much pressure from Auckland City, and that lovely left foot of his, you would have fancied him had he got 30 yards out. And Kane Vincent, though, looking hungry here, wants a goal.
Doesn't have long to do so. Vincent, nice header, getting past Tongue. Al Khaleesi turned into some danger, but Field now to Coughlin. He's got Taguchi on the left. Looking for the cross in. Taguchi puts it in, and too much on that one as Canterbury United heads drop. Full time quickly approaching.
It seems like a foregone conclusion at this point. Canterbury United cutting a collective frustrated figure.
Brown. Bonsamaro. A little bit tangled up. Nice play from Canterbury. Some quick footwork, but again, just forcing it. Yeah, Brown will just take his time with this one. Luke Tongue gets there before Vincent. Three minutes of extra time here as George King finds himself in a dangerous position.
Oh, yeah.
Blocked, though, by the Navy Blues. It came out of nowhere.
That was good combination play from Canterbury United. Auckland City a little bit slack at the moment.
They're just switching off the Navy Blues, but they'll be wanting a clean sheet. Team Wellington's goal difference right up there now with theirs.
Absolutely.
As Logan Rogerson seems to have gone down. Maybe a little bit of cramp. Also a little bit of time wasting. Canterbury have a bit of time just to regroup, looking for a consolation goal. As the other score coming in from today's match between Hawke's Bay United and the Wellington Phoenix reserves. Spoiler alert, Hawke's Bay won that one 3-2. And have kept themselves in playoff contention. It was a must-win for them. Canterbury United just hanging in there in 5th place.
Important final game between Hamilton Wanderers and Waitakere United from Pirate Stadium. Not only will that game decide the fate of teams in and around them, of their teams involved in that match, but also teams in and around them.
Cotton to King. 2 substitutions. And now Auckland City. A great chance to counter. Vincent didn't know too much about that one. Bonsamaro trying to release him. And Canterbury have it back. Looking for the back post. Coughlin's there. And Manicam kicks it away to safety. Can't be too much longer. As Rogerson It's gone off on the far side. Hopefully it's not too serious.
Looks like a hamstring, which is unfortunate. Not the sort of injury you want to see at this time in the season or in the game.
Caleb Cottam. Samaro pounces on that mistake. He's going himself. Housen's in the middle. So too is Vincent. Just stolen away from Luke Tung, who's really grown as the game's gone on. We shove there from Al Khaleesi.
And although it's not the result that Canterbury United wanted, it's not fatal to their playoff chances. They're still on the same points as Eastern Suburbs if this result stays as is. Waitaka United in and around the conversation as well. So it'll be Auckland City on 26 points, Team Wellington 20. Hamilton Wanderers yet to come, Eastern Suburbs on 15 with Canterbury United, and Waitakere United on 14.
Cam Brown. Referee has a quick look at his watch. Could be the last kick of the game here. Taguchi is trying to release King. As Brotherton gets it back to Brown. Taguchi. Field. And that'll do it. Referee blows for full time here at Kiwitea Street. And Auckland City have defeated the Canterbury United Dragons by 2-0, extending their lead at the top of the table, 6 points clear of Team Wellington. But Jacob, Canterbury United still in the mix for a playoff spot with just 2 rounds remaining. How would you sum up the 90 minutes?
I'd say it was a very industrious affair from Canterbury United. They came to Kiwitea Street with a plan and they executed for large parts of that game. A bit of luck didn't go their way, and also a tired set of challenges that led to Auckland City going up 2-0. I think both sides will be not necessarily happy from Canterbury United's point of view, but there'll be aspects of that game that they'll take a lot of solace from, and Auckland City will be happy with the 3 points.
The Navy Blues charging on in the ISPS HANDA Premiership while it's back to the drawing board for Canterbury United. Full-time score here. 2-0 to Auckland City. Thank you so much. Wherever you're watching in the world, it's been a pleasure having your company, and we'll see you soon.